How you doing everybody, it's Bix Blends here. Today we've got a mid-skin fade tutorial, step by step, just so you can see how I would attack this in real time in the shop. First of all, I'm just showing you the end result of the haircut, just so you know what we're working towards. Hopefully that makes it make a bit more sense with every step that we put into it. So let's get straight into it. So first things first, this should be the starting point for every haircut you do. Just make sure the hair is combed out in the direction it grows and that there's no kinks in there from any hats or bed head. Then we're going to go in with the grade 2 just to remove any bulk. The grade 2 will only go up to a certain line, and that's where I'm going to blend in with the scissors and the thinners later in the haircut. Then I'm going to go in with the grade 0. This is going to be the lowest point of the haircut. And with this line, I'm just going to be following along where I set that grade 2 line in the previous step. After the 0 line, I've grabbed my 1 guard, lever closed. I'm going about halfway between that 0 and that 2 line. And then afterwards, you'll notice that I quickly switch it. So I open the lever up on the grade 1, use that grade 1 with the lever open to flick out that line I've just created. And that should help you to get that 1 into the 2 quite seamlessly. You won't have to worry about that at a future step now. You just get it out of the way whilst you've got the grade 1 in hand. Now you can see I've got the detail. I just put in that line up in for the shape at the front. That's just so that I know where the shape of the fade is going to be towards the end, and then I get the detailer, go with a 0 right up to that 0 line I previously created to get all that loose hair off the bottom. And now I've got a 0.5 guard on my clipper, lever open at first, and I'll just attack that dark line at the bottom there, just pushing it up slightly just to try and blend it out, make it a less harsh line. And then we're going to go back in, close the lever, try and get more of that darkness out. And if I can't hit it any more of that 0.5 guard on the clipper, I'm just going to take the guard off, open the lever up on the clipper and attack that line one piece at a time with the corner of the blade mostly. You'll see it in the next shot here coming up that sometimes I'll use slow motions with a flat clipper to the head just to kind of reduce that line a bit more, and then as soon as I feel like the clipper's got as much as it can in that step, I'll close the lever a little bit more, attack it with the corner. So you can see that here, look, I'm just going at it one big stroke. Once it doesn't hit it anymore, use the corner of the clipper. It's slight, small motions. Make sure every flick that you do has got purpose. Because as soon as you're using the clipper flat to the head when you don't need to, you're just increasing the possibility that you're going to add another line in there. And that's going to be another harsh step. It's going to push the fade up and it's just going to slow down the whole process. So make sure when you're doing steps like this, when you're close to the skin trying to do a fade, you're using the corner of the clipper. You don't need to use the whole thing. Just use what you need. Remove the areas. If you don't feel like you know what needs to be done, take a step back from the head. You'll see any dark patches and then you can just attack it again with the corner. Don't just go at it doing stroke after stroke thinking that that's going to remove it. Take a step back, see what needs to be done, and then reapproach the head. It should make it so much easier and should speed up your fades as well because you're not doing unnecessary steps. You're only doing what needs to be done. Then I've come back in with my detailer, just because it's the closest you're going to get to the head. So I'm going back over, refining the fade, making sure there's just no little dark patches. That helps it look like a more blurry fade. You don't really have to worry about these steps too early in your career. Refining the fade is something you will get used to over time. At first, you just need to make sure you're getting the right steps in place. Now I've got the foil shaver in my hand. I'm just attacking the bottom of the head, getting rid of all of that, going down to skin so it's completely bald. And then I'm just using one half of the foil shaver when I want to blend that line into the fade I've already created. But just make sure you don't go too high on the foil shaver because you will create harsh lines and it will make the haircut so much harder. You'll have to go back, retrace steps and redo some more fading. It's the last thing you want. So just be gentle with the foils. Don't go over the board with it. It's just to give it an extra day or two on the haircut. Now I'm just wetting down the hair. When I'm wetting the hair, I'm obviously combing it in the direction that I want it to sit once the haircut is complete. Once the hair is completely wet and I've got it sitting how I think it should be, I'm kind of sectioning out the back of the hair because he's got a lot of weight back here, and because his hair is kind of curly wavy when it's dry, I kind of want to keep some bulk there so it makes it a nicer blend into the fade on the sides of the head. I wouldn't say sectioning is too important to learn too early in the career. As long as you get the fading under your belt first, doing the scissor work should follow afterwards. Even if you don't want to attack scissors at first, you don't have to try and learn this stuff. I think the main thing to do with a haircut is make sure that you can do the fade and all this properly first, because that's most people's priority. And then when you kind of get a bit more confident with doing all of that, you can move on to trying to learn some scissor work and some sectioning. For the time being, just watch what I've done here with the sectioning. Put the back of the head down so that everything from the crown and below is falling flat. Then I've sectioned out the sides and clipped up the top of the hair. This is just so that I know when I'm now doing my scissor work, what is the fade on the sides and what is the hair that is falling from the top sides so that it falls nicely down. Because not all that hair on the top is going to go completely forward. Some of it's going to fall down the side of the head. So you want that hair to be going flat down, almost sitting with the fade, And then that's when you can attack it with the scissors, thinning shears, all of this, just to kind of blend it from fade and clipper work into the scissor work that's going to sit on top of the head. And while this tutorial is not necessarily for scissor work, I am going to keep this part in here just so that you can see how I would attack that in any haircut. It's normally the same with every haircut. I'll fade up to a grade 2, grade 3, and then I use thinning shears and scissors just to remove the bulk on the sides, blend it in nicely to the top of the hair. But one thing to remember, and one thing you can see me doing here, is every time that I do a stroke on the scissors with the side of the head, I'll comb it out afterwards. That's just so that you know that the hair is sitting in place. You can see what it would look like if it was combed out fully, sitting in its proper position. It just helps you to know that the end result of the haircut is coming in together. If you're just combing down scissor work, sitting that hair out of place all the time, that's not how the hair is going to look on a regular basis. So you want to make sure the hair is sitting neatly whenever you're doing work like this, just because it's going to help you to visualize that end result. And I'm never taking any massive chunks when I'm doing this scissor work. I'm literally attacking it with, most of the time, just the corner of the scissors, just to kind of touch up and detail it, much like I was doing with the trimmers or detailers earlier in the fade. You're just going at the areas that you can see are a bit dark and that need a bit more blending. Now we're on to the top of the hair. Again, this isn't really a scissor cut tutorial, I'm more teaching you to fade, but just so you can see how I would attack the scissors on some curly, wavy hair. At this point in the haircut, I'm literally just kind of trimming it down. He doesn't want a massive amount off the top. He just wants it trimmed down because he likes keeping the curls, likes keeping it wavy, and it also helps add volume to the hair. You'll also notice here that when I'm drying curly or wavy hair, I normally don't really like to use a comb. It's just going to straighten the hair out as you dry it. So I'm attacking it with my hands, roughing it up as I'm drying it. That's going to add volume to the hair as you're doing it as well. And it's going to create that curly and wavy natural look that his hair wants to bring. And you can see here, end of the haircut, that's a clean fade. Right up to the sides, the scissor work is clean into the top of the hair. There's no real harsh lines there or anything like that. The fade sits nicely into the position it should be with a mid fade. And you can also see that I'm just combing out the hair at the end here, just because again, that's going to help you see that when the hair's sitting neatly, everything's in place, there's no harsh lines, there's no extra scissor work that needs to be done. It's just showing you that how neat it is. And then when you show the customer the back of their head and the sides of their hair cut in the mirror, it's just going to make it look so much nicer for them there. It might not look like that on a daily basis because they're going to do their hair differently, but it's just showing them that you know what you're doing, that the hair sits neat, and that everything you've been doing, every step, has led to this end result. So hopefully that tutorial's been quite detailed and it breaks it down easy enough for you so you can see how I personally would attack a mid-skin fade. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments and let me know what you want to see next.